Good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everyone. Welcome to another edition of KerbSide Collections. With me, Adam Ritchie. This is another interview show, and I have a new friend that I've met through Instagram and all those networks of other buddies that we have here in Australia. Mike from Beyond Horror. How are you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. And yeah, I think you're right with saying that you sort of start getting a network of people that you realize have a love
Yeah.
of horror. And, we're only a tiny island on a big
Mm.
planet sort of thing. So it's very sort of very small. We start to get to know each other, and that network just
Yeah.
continues to grow. So,
It does. It's a great little subculture. It's like it's for the most part, it's a really good community. Like it's every I've never met. There is an exception, but there's everyone else has been great. I've never met a prick, to be honest, although I've dealt with some. But yeah, no, it is a good community, and it's just a fascinating little subculture as well, which is kind of prompted me to even start this show because it's always been and I've said this on a few episodes before, but if you're new here and you've or if you're not, you might have heard me say it's always been a kink of mine just to look at what other people's collections are. Like I used to just go on YouTube and see what people have because I think you can learn a lot about someone, about what they have collected, whether it's, the titles in their books or their book or their movies or their music. You learn a lot about a person and kind of whether or not you're going to get along with them, to be honest, about looking through collections. So, yeah, that was always been a fascination of mine. So yeah, it's good fun. You've been around a while, yeah, doing
yeah,
this game.
yeah, yeah. I think it was. I definitely have always sort of collected things. It's always sort of been a bit of almost like an obsession sort of
Yeah.
thing, without even knowing. But then once Instagram sort of took off and
Mm.
started getting big, and people were really like showcasing the things that they had, I, started to really realize that, I'm not odd. I'm not, you know,
Yeah.
on my own. There's other people
Yeah.
that agree. And so it just became a thing of, you see someone share something, you go, oh, I really want that. Or you go, oh, I've got
Yeah.
that too. And
Yeah.
being able to share it in such a visual way, I think has only sort of helped my love for it is just being able to share it with others. So as far as like the horror physical media sort of stuff goes, I've been doing it like publicly for I think about 3 or 4 years now.
Okay.
Uh, but before that, like, so I also have a gaming account. So I collect video
Ah,
games, like retro games as well as,
right.
and that's actually how I know Wayne. So I
Yeah.
knew Wayne before I even had this account.
Oh, okay.
And so just having that, and then it was more at the time. I just thought, yeah, you know what? I don't want to just be putting movies on a gaming account or books on a gaming
Hmm.
account.
Yep.
I didn't really want to dilute it outside of that. So I thought, you know what? I really want to just have something that I can just put my love of horror, regardless of media. Like
Mm.
it can be whatever medium, put it out there. And so that's where Beyond Horror came from, was just need to just get that out there.
So yeah, so I guess I'm not going to go through my traditional questions at the moment, because I'm just fascinated by the horror aspect. You don't just collect horror, right? Like you do collect other movies.
Yeah, I do. Like majority horror, but I think that's
Yep.
just been one. It is just my favorite genre. Like I find more
Mm.
enjoyment and more, at least for me, a lot of the time, more rewatchability from
Yeah.
horror. Whereas like either horror or comedy for me,
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
being
Yeah.
able to watch it again. And I think it's because there's a very like direct link between them, I think.
100%.
Um,
Percent. Yeah.
Whereas I won't necessarily watch, let's say, like the same action movie over and over again. Like it's got to be at least
Yeah. Okay.
special for me to do it. So, for
Yep.
instance, like the likes of like Mission Impossible, like that's an amazing movie and
Mm.
probably one that I can rewatch. But
Hmm.
like the Jason Statham movies, I probably watch them
Yeah.
once and that's it. I'm done. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I won't own them. Like I'll just be like, nah, like don't even need to have that.
Fair.
So that's where, like, for the most part, I would say that my physical movie collection would be 90% horror.
Yeah. Okay.
And then more recently, what I've been doing is finding a lot of the movies that I grew up with that I adore are getting these 4K restorations. And
Yeah.
so I'm trying to get those because they're not easily, like, DVDs go out of print all the time if it's like a
Yes.
niche movie, and
Yep.
then somehow they will come out with a 4K. So, for instance, I remember when we were last talking, we mentioned The Outsiders, um,
Yes. Yeah.
and that had gotten a recent 4K release, whereas
Hmm.
on DVD, that was way out of print. Like, they just didn't bother redoing it because no one really
Yeah. Yeah.
cared enough
Yeah.
for it. So, like, as soon as I found out about that, I was like, yep, got to get it. And then other movies that are just more hard to get that you don't hear of getting reprints. So, like, stuff like the Mario Brothers
Yeah.
movie, the original, like, you wouldn't see that in shops. You just wouldn't. Like, they're not going to
No.
do it on. I don't even think it really got a DVD release, or if it did, it was only small.
Yeah, that's a good question. It would have, but it was a pretty well panned film though, right? Like
Yeah,
people
absolutely.
hated
Yeah,
it. I've never seen
yeah.
it for that reason, like just the reputation of it. But
Oh, it's a terrible movie, but I loved it.
yeah, yeah, well, there you go, right? Like, and that's a great thing. And I'm going to come back to it, but I'm a pretty recent convert to horror. Like, only within the last couple of years. Like, my daughter was going through a stage in her mid-teens of watching horror films, and just to get to bond with her, I kind of had been wanting to check a few more out. Like, I love comedy horror, but horror
Yeah, yeah,
has kind of always pushed me back. And I kind of got into it. I watched the first Halloween, and the first Halloween, like the John Carpenter, is just my all-time favorite horror film. Like, I think it's
yeah. Mine
amazing.
too.
Is it? Oh, that's
Yeah,
awesome. I
yeah,
loved. We'll probably talk a bit more about that then. But then, yeah, I've been diving into it a bit over the last couple of years, and I do concentrate my horror around that, September, October period. Like I normally watch. I've
yeah.
been watching 50, 60 movies that people have watched 100 times, and I'm watching them for the first time. So I feel like I need to also rewatch some of these at some point. But I'm so far behind on horror films. It does my head in. I've got such a big collection of unwatched ones.
But see, like, that's where I think that does your head in, but that's exciting for me. Like, I've never understood, like, any sort of media or hobby elitism, like in anything.
Mm,
Like, oh, you haven't watched that movie. It's like, all
yeah.
right, I may be surprised that someone has watched it,
Yeah.
or haven't watched it,
Hmm.
but I'm also stoked for them to have that time. Like, I go,
Yeah.
like, I
Yeah.
wish that I could, like, wipe my brain and watch certain movies for the first time again. Like, that'd
Yeah,
be
I know.
amazing. Like, and
Yep.
so, like, a lot of the time, like, if someone says, oh, I've not seen 1978 Halloween, I'm like, you're in for a treat. Like, as long as that's sort
Yeah,
of more your jam. Like, lucky you.
absolutely.
Like, I'm envious that you get to see that for the
Mm,
first time. Because I remember my first time, and I remember, like, I was absolutely just in awe, going, like, and I was
mm.
probably too young when I watched it
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
very first time, but
Mm,
I remember just going, like, how are they doing this? Like, this guy's scary. Like, I had
yeah.
nightmares over him. Like, I was like, this guy could literally just be in any corner. He's just that person. So yeah, but no,
That's
like, so
sorry.
many people are similar to you where they've said, like October, September, they get
Mm,
into it. But then those times of the year, like, I'm excited to just see what people find, because then I also find movies that maybe I
yeah.
haven't heard of.
There's so many,
And
right?
yeah, there's I don't think anyone could ever run out.
No, no,
There'll always be
no.
something that you haven't seen, and that's what I love so much about it, is just that I know that even if I watch one horror movie until the day I die, I'll never watch them all.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, absolutely you wouldn't. You just no. That's that's right. I've got a friend who has his life ambition is to watch every movie ever made, and he knows very well it's never going to happen. But
Yeah.
that's he still maintains that life goal, and I think it's adorable in a way. But it's there was a point I wanted to make about when you because you said you watched Halloween too young, but you still loved horror. When I was young, I did. Look, I grew up in the 80s, and parents didn't give a shit what you watched, and I was basically babysat by my two older brothers, so I would just watch what they put on with if parents weren't at home. And I remember watching The Exorcist while I was probably 5 or 6. I remember watching A Nightmare on Elm Street probably not long after that. And I had nightmares about both of those movies until I was well into my teens, and I just wouldn't watch horror, and that's why I wasn't interested. And then I've rewatched The Exorcist, and it's one of the greatest films, full stop, of any genre, hands down. And I rewatched Nightmare on Elm Street last year, and I've been going through that series because I got a box set. And the first one, it was just it's actually looking back on those practical effects, it's actually kind of lame, but and that's not a disparaging comment. It's just I'm saying that from the point of view is that would be impossible to scare me now because it's just not scary. It's fun and it's like it's great from the filmmaking perspective and the art behind it. That's what I appreciated about it a lot more rather than because I remember growing up and just being shit scared of the image of Freddy Krueger, and it was the Johnny Depp
Yeah.
scene that was the really frightening part that I had nightmares about. But watch that today, and it's like you can see the tricks now. I guess when you're a bit more grown up, right?
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things though, but as when you're younger and you're watching this and you're in that state of fear, you're not
Mm.
looking for the errors or the janky visual effects or anything. You're in the moment. Those any sort of like goofs or anything don't
Mm.
exist because you're
Mm.
so absorbed with what's happening that if a cameraman walks past, you don't notice it because you're just like
Yeah,
Freddy
yeah,
Krueger in the boiler, like that's like
yeah,
scary. Like it's
yeah,
so you don't notice that sort of thing. And I think that's one thing that I think affects kids is that all right, if you watch that movie now for the first time as an adult,
yeah.
you know, you would probably find it pretty hokey and
Mm.
it doesn't have that wouldn't have the same effect. Whereas as a kid, you don't really know about special effects. You don't, and some people,
It's
depending
all
on how
very
you're
real.
brought up, yeah, you don't know and can't comprehend between what's real and what's not. And I think that's where it affects you. So I think, and then I think that's where it's sort of led in for me. You mentioned earlier that because of those scares as a young kid, that sort of put
Yeah,
you off,
yeah,
watching.
yeah,
Whereas I think I went the other way of where as a kid, yeah, they terrified me. Like, and I was like, scared out of my wits. But
yeah.
when I was older, and even now, I find even the scariest movies, I
Yeah.
now obviously have the logic that I know that it's not real. I can't be
Yes.
hurt from it. So
Yeah.
now I get to enjoy that adrenaline rush while
Mm.
knowing that I'm fully safe.
Yeah.
So
Almost like a
I
roller
think that's
coaster.
yeah, basically. But for me, like
Yeah.
I hate heights, so you're not getting me on a
Yeah.
roller
Same.
coaster.
Same. Yeah.
Uh,
But I've been on
but
roller
and then
coasters.
yeah, but even they can go wrong, right? There's
Absolutely. Yeah.
accidents
Well,
can
yeah.
happen.
Absolutely. So
Um,
what actually gives you, because I watched, and I look, I'll try and ask this question in the shortest way I can, but that's going to be really hard. I actually really love older horrors from the 70s and 80s. I love that era way more than modern horror. There's a few exceptions, as there is every rule, but there's a lot of horrors that, or modern ones that I do like. Most I don't. Completely lost the point I was trying to make. Oh my God. The more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm pushing it away. Oh, that's what I was going to say, ask. So, what actually gives you genuine chills now? Because you are so experienced with horror. What actually does anything give you genuine chills? Can you have an occasion, even in the last 12 months, of a time where you've actually gotten goosebumps or an actual general holy shit, that's fucking frightening type of thing?
yeah, like there's more obviously, like for instance, like as I've watched more, jump scares actually start to annoy me. I don't
Yes, they do.
tend,
Yeah.
they're not well done most of the time. Like it's
No.
just
No.
a quick thing and a loud noise. Like of course you're gonna jump because you're not
Yeah.
expecting a loud
Yeah.
noise to happen. But
It's
um
cheap. It's cheap
it's
entertainment.
yeah, it's cheap. Whereas so now what has always bothered me, the more that I think about it and gives me chills, is it's the little things that you notice sometimes on camera that have just, that slowly get there.
Yeah.
Like I remember probably the one that really affected me growing up, like well, I was a teen, so like here I was thinking that I was like basically a veteran of horror in my
Mm.
teens when Blu-rays had just sort of came out. Like I remember I just bought a PlayStation 3 so that I could watch Blu-rays.
Oh
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah.
so,
I did the same.
so I think I was just out of high school, and that movie, The Strangers.
Yeah, the Liv Tyler one.
Yeah, yep.
Okay.
So it's got Liv Tyler and Scott Speedman in it,
Yep.
and I that was one of my first Blu-rays. Like I got told like it was a
Ah.
really good movie to watch. Like it's a good quality one because of all the dark tones in it.
You,
It
you
turns out really good,
okay. Yep, yep.
and I'm watching it, and there's certain scenes where like you see them talking in the house, and one of the home invaders, like with the mask on,
Yeah.
is just standing in the hallway behind them, not doing
Mm-hmm.
anything. and we'd only be there for a little, and then you just see him like turn and like walk away. So like if you were talking with a friend, you may miss it. But if
Mm.
you're watching that, you then go, okay, when is that going to become an issue? And you now know that the intruders are in the house before Liv Tyler and Scott know that they're in the
Yeah,
house.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, and that was something that really sort of like messed with me big time, was just like that sort of
Okay.
looming dread.
Yeah, yeah.
But these days, what bothers me generally is like an overall story or the meaning behind something.
Right.
Where like, for instance, like a lot of people weren't like a fan of like that movie Presence that came out.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas, and people are like, oh, that's not a horror. Now, I'll be the first one
Mm,
to say, not, I don't think it was like a straight up horror. And Neon did what they always do and say that it's the
yeah,
scariest horror of all time. They've
yeah.
said it with every movie. And same with like, same
Can't
reasons with
trust them.
Longlegs is
Yeah,
that it's the overall story. Like with Longlegs, you go like, this could happen. What that guy did
yeah.
has
Absolutely.
happened, you know?
Yeah.
And to have that demeanor and then to find out like, you know, the family link, and I'm not going to say more than
Mm.
that, you know,
No,
for
no, no.
anyone that hasn't seen it, but
Yeah,
the more you're piecing it together as you watch it, it becomes more disturbing because you're like, hold on, what?
yeah,
And then like
yeah,
you're going like that's, and then I think it rocked me thinking this could happen. This has happened. This will happen again, you know, with
yeah.
people like this, you know, maybe not the dolls and stuff, but
Definitely.
you know, like, so when they're like grounded in reality, it affects me. And then with Presence, it was more like what I took from it was obviously like it's a ghost story from the other side. You see it from
Yeah,
the side of the ghost. And what made it scary for me is like this ghost is watching human behavior, and there's some just genuinely shitty people in this movie,
yeah,
and it shows you like the true horror. It's like almost like being a fly on the wall in
yeah,
shitty situations. And then like the ending of that movie and like how it wraps up, I was like, that was chilling because like the whole movie was just basically bleak. There's no
yeah.
like happy ending.
Mm.
And not that I believe in ghosts, like I don't, I'm not spiritual, but I'm there going like, that's people though. You've just
Yeah,
basically given us a deep dive on humanity and how terrible people
yeah,
can be. And
yeah.
that's scary. So I go, that is like, if anything, that's a psychological horror.
Yep.
If you take a couple of steps back and look at the picture as a whole. So that's where I get, when I can somehow find some sort of like relation to the
Mm.
movie and I can link and I like can find some sort of ground where I go, hold on a minute. That's where I find it scary. You know,
That's yeah, 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 yeah. That's what I appreciate a lot more about horror now that I've grown up and kind of know how to watch them is that they do have really important messages in them quite often. It's not just blood. It's not just splatter porn for the sake of it. Like they are, especially I talk about the exceptions to the modern horror rules, but the when I talk about modern horror that I don't like, it's more the slasher stuff.
yeah,
Like the high level stuff, like Long Legs, I really enjoyed, and these things like that. But yeah, the messages behind it are really important things. I really appreciate what they're doing with that stuff. I'm not sure if it's always been done that way, but I
yeah.
agree.
I think it's just important that people can take what they want out of it. And like how you've taken a movie could be completely different to how the person next to you takes it.
Yeah.
I I walked out of Sinners thinking it was the greatest thing I've seen in years.
Yep.
Like just not even just as a horror, like just as a movie. Like it ticked
Yeah.
all the boxes for me
Yeah. Yeah.
that I was like, okay, there's enough like allegory here
Oh,
for
there's so
different
many
reasons
messages
because
within that
yeah,
movie.
exactly. And I
Yeah.
go, this shows a way of like showing what's important, what they're trying to tell, while
Yep.
not like jamming it down your throat like how I felt Heretic did. And I think that it did
Yeah.
it a little bit different in a way of going, look, you take what you want from this. We're going to show what people can be like again.
Yeah.
But whereas Heretic basically had so much like exposition in it that they explained the movie as it went along.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But again, on the other hand, that Heretic is one of the modern horrors that I really loved. Like, I loved
Oh,
it.
I like it, but I think it holds your hand during it.
Yeah. It does kind of suck when movies do that. I think on a second watch, I'll pick that up a bit more. I, I struggle on a first watch to pick things up all the time because I'm just kind of
Mm,
entranced in what I'm seeing rather than what's behind what I'm seeing. But yeah, I did want to get your opinion on when you're talking about people, not saying presents or long legs is actually as scary as they say, but I kind of have this opinion that horror is a very broad genre, and there's a lot of films that I don't think are horror that are officially horror, and films that I think are labeled drama, but I think they're horror. I'll just give you an example of what I mean, and I want to know if you have any opinions of it. But I disagree that The Silence of the Lambs is a horror. That's not a horror film. That's an X-Files episode. It's a procedural thriller that is far from a horror. But I would actually consider almost 95% that the movie Room with Brie Larson, that's a horror. And people don't ever mention that as a horror film. When you think of what happens in that movie, like this woman is kidnapped, she's had to raise a son in this backyard shed, and when she escapes, when she actually gets out halfway through the movie, that's kind of when the horror is really set into, because we've known this has happened to actual people where they've been kidnapped for years and raped and made to have children and blah blah blah. But her horror begins once she's on the outside world because she's not used to it. She kind of abandons her son for a little bit because the psychological horror and the PTSD of what she's gone through. That to me is more of a horror. I think Jurassic Park is a flat out horror film. I don't know if you have any opinions on that type of thing. I know we'll get into the physical media soon, but I'm just keen on your opinions on this stuff.
No, you're 100% right. I'll be the first person to say that I believe that horror is subjective, and
Yeah,
I believe it always will be. It can't not be, but that's the same with comedy, right? What you find funny in a
yeah,
movie,
yeah,
someone may
yeah,
hate, and vice
yeah,
versa. Uh,
absolutely.
so I always think that it doesn't have to be that everyone agrees,
No,
because
no,
it's never going to be the case. And I agree with, for instance, like you mentioned, Room, and I would agree. Like, imagine being someone that's done, like, being in that situation.
yeah.
That would be an extremely triggering movie, and probably the scariest movie they could imagine watching.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Uh,
You
and
imagine like a
then,
young girl maybe watching that, thinking, "Oh shit, that could happen to me." Like I could get kidnapped at 12. Like that's a
yeah,
horror. That's a
yeah.
horrific situation. Yeah.
I mean, like Jack Ketchum has written horror books, similar type things. So like, there's a girl next door, like where
Okay.
like similar type things happen. There's some extreme horror novels, that talk about these sort of things happening and more horrific than The Room, because obviously in extreme horror novels, there's no classification board to say what can and can't happen in a book. But like where like extremely daunting things happen, but it's basically Room. Like what happens in that are in these novels. They get captive. You know, you could basically say that the first Saw is almost like a
Yeah.
version of that as well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're in one room, you don't know who your captor is. There's no real way that you can see that you can get out. Obviously, they go and put the torture porn aspect into
Mm.
it,
Hmm.
but it's very much, if you take away everything, it's almost the same story. Like, but obviously, like
Yeah.
there's more. Like it's more fantastical in Saw. So yeah, I agree with Silence of the Lambs as well. Is it's more what I think makes that, or has the horror aspect, is again that these people that they're trying to catch, they're out there. There's real people doing this, and
Yeah.
how many,
Yeah. It's
like,
another kidnapping movie, right? But
yeah,
I see
exactly,
I see the drama as more of a horror than the horror as a horror, which yeah.
yeah. So I mean, if you want to make Silence of the Lambs true horror, like stop for a moment and just think how many serial killers are out there that no one knows about. Like,
Mm.
isn't that scary just to think about? So it's the same
Fuck
thing
yeah.
that,
Yeah.
um,
Absolutely. You could
that,
maybe think Zodiac is a horror. Yeah, there's just so many. Seven.
yeah.
Is Seven a horror film? I mean, kind of.
I mean,
Even though it's
yeah, I mean, I tend to think it is. Like, I know it's not branded as such, but
yeah, yeah.
both Zodiac and Seven,
Mm,
like, are grounded in reality. Certain things in Zodiac obviously happened.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
like that's based on true events. Obviously, they take artistic license and do other stuff with it, but
yeah, yeah.
and the same with Seven. What are you telling me that there's a chance that no one's ever done that, or that someone's ever had had that box situation? Like,
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
so yeah, they become terrifying. So it's just more about knowing, I think, what you would find terrifying in real life is what,
Mm,
whereas like maybe people wouldn't say Godzilla is a horror because they can't
yeah,
really see that sort of thing. If they go, oh, we're not going to have a radioactive lizard walk through our
yeah,
city. So they go,
yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
but you could sure as hell have a serial killer go through it, So
Yeah,
I think, again, horror is subjective. So I think if someone finds a movie scary,
yeah.
it's a horror. At least for them, it is.
Yeah, I think that's 100% fair. I think that's a really good discussion. And like it's, yeah, I think you could just come up with examples all day, to be honest, to come up with that. So I'll probably try and get into the physical media side of it then. I generally start with this question. Well, I don't even know if we're like half hour through yet, but that's the first question technically. So do you, what makes you collect physical? Like, what's your attraction to having the actual physical copy of something?
It started off for a different reason to what it is now.
Okay, that's
Um,
cool. Tell me both.
so the way that it started, so I've got cerebral palsy,
Oh, okay.
and I do think to some extent I'm not diagnosed with anything mentally. Like I am with cerebral palsy, that is diagnosed. I was born with that. But I do think that there's at least some sort of mental element or illness or something that I have that has just gone undiagnosed
Okay.
because I've always been a very like tactile person. Like I like feeling like a certain book and I like feeling certain things, the weight of things. And then I've just always collected, like as a kid, I collected 5-cent pieces. Can't tell you why. Don't
Yeah.
know why. And I literally just
Yeah.
had this old whiskey bottle and I'd just drop them and it had a cork lid in it. And I'd just drop 5-cent pieces in it and then just put the cork back in and that'd be it. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why. I can't tell you why. But then,
I
so
can
then
relate
I
to that
just,
a lot because I used to
yeah,
collect everything as a kid. Everything. Like it was weird.
yeah,
Rubber bands and even bread clips and erasers, like different type of rubbers that were in different shapes of whatever.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
no, I
like,
can totally agree with I'll relate.
and that grew into like even in high school. So like I'd catch the bus, and back then they had like they were paper tickets, like little like
Yeah.
cardboard things
And punch
and
it.
they'd get punched,
Mhm.
and I would get weekly ones for school, and
Mm.
they would only be good for 5 days, so you'd have to then get another one and another one and another one. So by the end of the school year, like I have like a stack, like like 6 inches deep, sort of thing of these,
Right.
and they would change some of the designs on them. So like like when the Commonwealth Games were
Ah,
happening when
yeah,
I was
yeah.
in high school, like
Yeah.
they had certain ones for that, or if they had something big coming up, like. And for some reason, I just never threw them out. I just put them in a box, like in a shoebox, and collected them.
Yeah.
And
Do you still do that? Do you still have them?
yeah, I still have them, just because I
Yeah.
don't know necessarily like how to go about throwing it out. Like I
Yeah.
probably no
Yeah.
use, but I haven't.
Do you
But
collect movie
then
stubs? You collect your movie stubs?
concert tickets, yeah. But
Okay.
these days, all
But
my
it's all
tickets,
electric.
yeah, it's all electric. So
Yeah. I used to
I know
collect
I
my
hate
movie
it.
stubs.
I used to. And same with concert tickets, I'd collect. But then, so then I just thought, there's got to be things that I can collect for a reason because I like it, and
Mm.
they also have like a
Yeah. Okay.
purpose of like enjoyment, not just chuck it in a box and that's it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and so like the first thing that I really remember collecting like with a purpose was comics. So
Okay.
I still collect comics. Like I'd probably have like I'd at minimum I'd probably have like 10,000 comics.
Oh, Jesus. Wow.
Yeah. So I collected those, and then long story short, and this gets a little bit like sob story, but my dad's mum got really sick, um,
Okay.
and we got not the day that she passed away, but the day that we got told that she was basically not going to leave the hospital. I was actually in the middle of reading an issue of the Immortal Hulk comic,
Oh, all right. Okay.
and like she was like a very like integral part in my life. I always had been, and definitely like a role model that I really looked up to. And because, at least for the time, I related to that phone call as something that I got while I was reading a comic, and I was a fully grown adult at this point, like when I got told this, but still,
Yeah.
I couldn't touch a comic for ages, just
Oh,
couldn't do it
wow.
because I was
Oh,
just like, oh yeah, the last time I touched a comic, like I got that phone call, and then I was the one that was doing a lot of the difficult phone calls to family members, like because my dad
uh,
was more, like dealing with the fact and spending time with her,
yeah,
that
yeah,
I
yeah.
would go every time he was going, like on a daily basis. I'd make sure I was listening to the doctors, and then I
Hmm.
was like the one that was making calls to family members and such because we're all over Australia.
Right.
But there was a whole lot of time spent in waiting rooms, like of the intensive care and such. And there's not a whole lot to do.
Yeah.
So I thought that I would like get into retro gaming again and get all the games
Okay.
that I had as a kid and more. And I just went on eBay. I had a console at the time that could play a bunch of different cartridges. And so
Okay.
like I just spent time just looking them up, buying them on eBay, and just doing that, and started collecting, going like, oh, let's rebuild the childhood that I had, get some
Hmm.
of these games back. And then so that's where like my gaming collection started, was just that, and then it's just grown into like what else can I get for it? And so that's what it was just pure enjoyment to enjoy, when I was growing up, my parents didn't always have, a lot of money. So
Yeah.
I had like one or two video games for whatever system it was.
Hmm.
And now, like, I can go, oh, that game, I never had that. Like, let me grab a copy and now I can play it. And then, so that's how it started, was just pure enjoyment. But then, where I said it was twofold, the second way that that's come into, and I know that you would relate to this a lot with movies and games as well, but with movies, they're not always available to watch.
No. Yeah.
If you don't own it, you can't
Yeah.
always watch it. And there's nothing saying that a movie will be on a certain streaming service for any amount of time. Or if you buy digitally, like everyone knew about like the Sony Discovery thing, where like basically
Mm.
like you bought you paid for it, you technically should have owned that.
Yeah,
Nah,
yeah, yeah.
it's gone.
No,
Like,
it's
and you're not
gone.
getting your money back either.
No, no, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and so like I thought, you know what? Like that's a scary thought to think of. Is
Mm.
that unless you own something, and I mean like outright own a physical copy of it,
Yeah,
you never know when the last possible time is that you would ever see that again.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
is very doomsday prepper vibe, I think.
Yeah,
But I think
yeah.
that you need to. Like, I think if you respect a movie enough or enjoy a movie enough, I think it's the smartest thing is to own a copy of it. Like a
Yep.
physical, it doesn't have to be 4K if it's DVD that you collect, or like if that's the only thing you don't care too much about the quality of it, or a
Mm.
VHS, even if that's what you've got. I think it's important to own it just so that you can watch it if you need to watch it, or if you feel the need to watch it, just because you don't have that opportunity. And I think that the way that the world is going, it's going
Hmm.
to become more and more difficult to watch the movies that we want to watch.
Absolutely. Preach it, brother. Because I couldn't argue with the word you said there. Yeah, it's all very true. And yeah, had a discussion with someone recently about the cost of streaming and how much worse it's going to get. Like streaming's only going to keep going up in price. So yeah, owning all that physical stuff is more important than ever, I think. And I am a firm believer that it will come back very strong, for the simple fact that almost every day on like the Facebook groups I'm a part of and whatnot, I see people saying, "Oh, I've just started collecting physical media." They must just start buying stuff and look for a Facebook group straight away to blend
Mm,
in with, because you, like you mentioned something earlier, that you found your people, and that's what it's like for me as well. Yeah, everything you said, even how you grew up, very relatable, like so relatable. Very similar stories, to be honest, and yeah, so it all makes perfect sense to me. But yeah, there was something else that you mentioned there that I wanted to lead off from. And as is my nature, I cannot remember again. Oh, yes, I can.
if you
See,
had
this is the
I was
thing.
going to say though, if you had a physical media copy of that thought, you'd be able to
I'll
find
be
out.
just be able to look at it. bite the case and tell you. No, you were talking about people collecting DVD or VHS. Like, are you big on? Do you focus on quality, or do you just focus on having what you want?
Oh, first
Hmm.
and foremost, like if it's a movie that I believe I need to have in my collection or I want in my collection,
Yeah,
I believe in beggars can't be choosers. So
yeah.
if a movie doesn't have a 4K edition of it, I'm happy to settle for a DVD, Blu-ray, whatever.
Mm.
There's obviously nostalgic value to like VHS, and there's certain movies that I love watching on VHS over any other, like Blair Witch Project.
Ah, yeah, that's made for
Amazing.
VHS. Yeah.
But then even like I own the first three Scream movies on VHS.
Oh, wow.
They're amazing on VHS. I don't know
Yeah.
why, like, but it is.
So,
It just feels right.
do you watch through CRT TV and or you're
Yeah,
lucky? Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, and
yeah.
if I reckon if you watch it through a modern 4K TV, it would be atrocious. But
Oh,
they
and
are
it
made
is.
for CRTs.
Exactly, and that's the same with gaming. So, and I learned that the
Yeah.
hard way. Is like you can plug in almost any console with different like adapters into HDMI,
Yep.
but they look terrible.
Mm.
Like they're
Unless
not
they've been
made to
upscale or
be on
something.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and even then they don't look authentic. There's a lot of lag in between like the input as well.
Ah,
Like it's hard
right.
to, measure that. Whereas if you put, let's say, like a Nintendo 64 or a Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn on a CRT,
Hmm.
amazing. You don't see that. You put it on like a OLED 85-inch TV, it looks
Yeah.
like dog shit.
Yeah.
And that's not looking through like rose-colored lenses. It's just a simple fact. They're not made
Yeah.
to look good. Like they're not
Mm.
there for that. They're never going to be done. So yeah, like with your question, I think that first and foremost, if you wish to own a certain movie, it shouldn't matter what, as long as you've got the means to play it. So if you only
Yeah.
own a DVD player, get the
Yep.
DVD of it. If you've got a
Mm.
4K player and you think that you would like that quality of it, go
Yep.
for that. And I think that that's what's important. There's still movies in this day and age. Like I would say that my 4K collection out of everything is probably my smallest collection out
Okay.
of like movies. And
Right.
that's just more, look, there's certain movies where straight off the bat, I know I will buy on 4K.
Mm.
Like as soon as I see it in the movies, I'm
Yeah.
like I already know
Sinners. Yeah.
4K. Like that
I
was
pre-ordered the steelbook like a couple of days ago. Like it's
I'm definitely going to be doing that one. But
yeah.
so there's that. Whereas, for instance, and especially like as a horror collector, there's certain movies that the quality is not going to affect what you see as much.
Yeah. Yep.
Like so, like for instance, like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey,
Oh yeah.
right? Or
Okay.
these one, they're not going to get a 4K release. Like, I doubt they'll
Mm.
ever, like, not even 10 years down the track will they get a 4K release. But I go, okay, Blu-ray or DVD. On like Umbrella, the prices aren't tend to be that different for Blu-ray or DVD. Generally, maybe like $5 or $6 for most of the same movie, brand new.
Yeah. Yes.
I'll pay the extra money just to get it in Blu-ray. Like
Yep.
I go. But if it was a $20 difference for these movies, there's quite a lot of movies that I go, I'll just get it on DVD.
Is that right?
Yeah, like
Okay. So
there's certain movies that I just don't think, for me, have
mm.
the cinematic value to fork out for. Like the Smile movies, I'll never pay to get those two Smile movies in 4K.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
I
I
don't look at them and go, "That's a beautiful movie." Like I just go, like, "Yeah,
yeah,
cool."
right. Okay. I'm interested in that. That's interesting because I'm this is where we differ a little bit, but that's cool though. Like I'll tell you my history with DVD. Like I was an early adopter of DVD. I used to work at a video store when they first come out, and people
Yeah,
say I'm gonna tangent a little bit, but my opinion and from what I know working in that industry at the time is that it wasn't streaming didn't kill video stores. It was DVDs that killed video stores because they were always released when it was all VHS. Like a VHS tape wasn't released into public domain to buy for like 2 years. Like there was actually laws in
yeah,
pretty much every country. But once DVD came out, you could buy it in Kmart for $25, or you could go rent it for $6 overnight. And people were like,
yeah,
well, I really love this movie, or I really want to see it. It's so cheap, and this is a whole new awesome technology, better than VHS. That's what killed video stores. Is that changing delay? because even TV contracts, you won't see a movie on TV for at least 2 years after it's been at the theater. I think some streaming is like that as well, especially in this country. So my history of DVD is interesting because now well, for a very long time, I was dead against it because Blu-ray came out. I want people to buy Blu-ray and 4K and basically eliminate DVD from history, basically, just so the technology or the cost of Blu-ray and 4Ks would naturally come down if that's what people are buying rather than
Yeah,
DVD. Because I am a bit of a quality nerd. So if I'm going to pay for something, I want to see it in the best way I can or
yeah,
can afford to. But as I do a lot of op shopping now, I know there's a lot of movies on DVD that will never even see a Blu-ray. Like a lot of 80s comedies just forgotten to time, and I'll see them in a thing. And I know I've actually brought a few DVDs lately, and I've watched a couple. Sometimes you watch them. There's a lot depends on the transfer. They're only in 420p, but sometimes you can get a 720 HDR one, and it looks fine. Like it actually looks quite good.
yeah,
And if you've got a decent enough player, we'll upscale it for you anyway. So I've had some DVDs that look like dog shit, like you said before, and some that look, yeah, really good. Like they're quite fine. So it's kind of a hit and miss. But yeah, I've started picking up those older ones for a buck or two, things that'll never see the light of day again, pretty much.
yeah. And like, I basically, when I get DVDs, again, a lot of it's through like op shopping as well, or like
Yeah.
eBay, like cheap,
Yep.
like $3 movie. Generally, when I'm buying with that purpose, I'm basically going in with the thought of if there's a Blu-ray release of this, or like it becomes cheap that I can buy like the 4K of this or something,
Yeah.
then I'll do it. Not a lot of people know this. I'm actually talking to you about this for probably like the very first time that unless like you're in my close inner circle, no one knows, which is I'm a
Okay.
massive Arnold Schwarzenegger fan.
Okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Massive. Like so many of his movies only over the last couple of years got Blu-ray
Yeah.
releases. And it's
Yeah.
only like as of like last year have they started getting 4K releases. Before that, and then a lot of them were out of like print even on DVD, like Kindergarten Cop and Twins.
Yeah.
Trying to find
Yeah.
a copy of that on
Yep.
any form was ridiculous. It
I
was
got a
like,
copy of Twins at an op shop pretty recently in some. I actually no, I didn't. I bought it off. It was a 5 pack with some Adam Sandler movies, Billy Madison and Happy Gilmore, because they were out of print and Blu-ray, and Twins was in there. There was a
yeah.
five movie box set. Yeah, sorry, I'm sorry to butt in.
No, but that's exactly it though. Like, so it's that sort of thing of a go for a long time, and I don't know if people necessarily notice, but
Mm,
certain movies just simply aren't available on any
no.
present format. Like, there
Yep.
were a time, like, or they maybe have small runs on like
Mm,
DVD or something, and then they're
yep.
out and they don't come back, And
Yeah.
so, for
Yeah.
instance, I know that at least Kindergarten Cop and Twins were two of them, were for at least a period of time in this day and age of Blu-ray, the only way that you could still purchase it would be buying like trying to find a copy of the VHS,
Yeah. Right.
because people either like didn't have the DVD or didn't get a release on that. But like touching on that, like I've been going through most of his movies now kind of have at least gone on to Blu-ray, and I've
Yep.
just been slowly working off like ticking off the 4K versions, like
Ah,
upgrading because they're still in the stance of I would say now it's getting to the point where it's 50-50 on like 4Ks get like of his movies. And it's the same
okay.
with like
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
see like a lot of the Stallone movies now are getting 4K releases. Like you've
They
got
are.
Cobra,
Yes. Yep.
and so
I've seen.
yeah.
Mm.
So, but I'm sure, and I don't have many of his movies, but I'm sure I believe he's probably one of them that's very difficult to try and find certain movies like in a
Yeah.
store brand
Yeah.
new. Like go to
Yeah. Yeah.
J.
It would be
You
impossible.
just
Yeah.
so yeah, but as far as like, I definitely care about like the picture. We
Mm.
mentioned Sinners, like straight off the bat, I knew like
Yeah.
from the moment that movie like started, I knew that that was a 4K like day one purchase.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll always be sort of on the fence of going, if someone wants to collect physical media, they have to be able to justify their means and be able to afford it.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah.
It's important just to have it. So if you only have a DVD player, get the DVD of the movie you want.
Yeah.
And then if they can upgrade later down the track, do it. You know, because that's what I'm doing bit by bit. There's certain things that get releases that I do want on 4K, and I buy it. You know, and generally I'm not someone that really resells, so I tend to just like
Yeah. Yeah.
offload
Me.
my other stuff to like friends that I know would want it. I go,
Hmm.
oh, I just got a 4K copy of Cobra. Like, here's my Blu-ray or something like that. Like, and just
Yeah.
give it to
Okay.
someone that will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's important.
I
So
don't have friends that own Blu-ray players anymore. No one I know actually owns one. It's funny
yeah,
because I've offered to friends, "Oh, do you want this?" "Oh, I don't have a player." I'm like, okay.
yeah, there's a lot like that. I mean, I'll tell everyone right now, go and buy for your starter one. If you don't have a lot of money, go and buy the laser Blu-ray player.
Yeah, the all region one.
Yeah, the region free one.
Hmm.
It plays DVD, it plays Blu-rays, and I reckon it's the best entry level at
Yeah,
an affordable price.
yeah.
They, as long
They're
as you
pretty
don't
good
get a
quality. You could say.
lemon, yeah, they're built to last. Like
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
used one, like I've still got one going
yeah, yeah,
for
yeah.
that I use mostly for like other regions and stuff with the
Yes,
Blu-rays and stuff.
some
Um,
criterions you need them for.
yeah, and it does the job.
Yeah,
Easy to use. So I think if
yeah,
anyone goes, "Oh, I don't have the money," and put money aside, I think they're like 120 bucks.
yeah. They're not expensive. Yeah, you can get them on well
It's not a
everywhere.
brand.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's the thing. Like I see, I'm a bit of a like I was saying before, a bit of a quality snob, and I actually went through a phase of even if there's a movie I loved and I really wanted to own it, if it wasn't on Blu-ray or above, I just even if I could have been a million copies on DVD, I just would refuse to buy it. But I had a movie change my mind on that was when I was begging to find Lake Placid. I'm waiting for Lake Placid to get a 4K because I
Yeah,
love that movie. Like it's just I don't know. I love
it's the
shit
cow
like
thing.
that. Yeah, it's just so it's just so good. Like I had a massive crush on Bridget Fonda back in the day as well, and then Oliver Platt is just a brilliant in that film, and I don't know, I just love it for a lot of reasons. But yeah, that was the movie. I saw it in JB one day. It was $10. I'm like, fuck, do I buy this? I'm like, I really want it. I really want to see it. And I was like, yeah, okay. So and then I was just my snobbishness has reduced for sure when now when it comes to DVDs. But I would never buy a new movie on DVD. Like if it was a new movie that came out in all three formats, I would never buy the DVD.
Yeah, I only do if, for instance, like if it's like a part of a set at the time. So, for instance, like,
Mm,
and
yeah.
I will be upgrading, but at the time, JB had like a special edition version of Pearl by Ty
Ah,
West.
yes. Yeah, I've got that. Yeah.
The special edition DVD was a completely different color. Like
Okay.
the case itself
Didn't know
was
that.
like red plastic.
Okay.
Like, and
Oh, because it's a
I was
Madman.
yeah, so I was a sucker for a gimmick like that. So at
Hmm.
the time, I picked up X and Pearl on DVD so that I could
Hmm.
watch them. And then when Maxine came out, I was like, oh, because it's well, like it's a fair way after those two movies came out.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that is on 4K. I'm like, but the other two are on DVD. I want to
Yeah.
put them
Yeah.
together. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
DVD. And then I'll just wait. They'll end up doing some like 4K 3 pack.
I would
Um,
imagine. I mean, you can
they,
import 4Ks. I know there's a German 4K of X, and I know there's a 4K of Pearl. But did we even get Maxine in Australia? How did I get my
yeah,
Maxine? We did.
yeah,
Maybe
yeah, but not. I
we
don't.
we never
There
got
was a
X.
4K of it though.
There is, yeah, there is a 4K of it, but I just was happy with the Blu-ray of that because
Yeah,
X only got a DVD release in Australia as well. It
yeah.
didn't get,
So
which is stupid.
that's where my OCD comes up again. Like I talk about
Yeah,
collecting and
yeah.
matching. Is I go, nah, if there's three movies in a set and I've got two of them on DVD, that last one's not going to be a different format. It's got to be the same
So
format.
did you
So
get DVD of Maxine or?
yeah, yeah. And so,
Ah,
but
yeah.
I then also I know that if we ever get, let's say, like a Steelbook trilogy 4K or something like that,
It's
it'll
pretty
be a day
likely.
one. Yeah, I think so. Like, it'd be silly not to.
It's a Scream Factory
Um,
type of thing, or Mad
yeah,
Men,
so
honestly, because they own the rights in
yeah.
Australia. Sorry, Dave.
No, so so it makes it a little bit easier buying the DVD, knowing that I go, like, realistically, like they'd be stupid not to. Like, it's a
Yeah,
money maker, it will sell,
yeah.
and it'll be a day one buy for me. Like,
Mm,
someone like, let's say, Outrun, or Dead End, or someone like that, or like Easy DVD will go and
yeah,
put it up
yep,
and say, oh, here's the Steelbook three movie 4K collection. And
yeah,
the day that they announce, it's the day that I order it, and I'll be like, cool, these DVDs, who do I know that would like that?
yeah,
Here you go.
yep.
I'm not someone that necessarily holds on to it. I don't need to have, unless it's a special movie, I don't need to own all the different formats of it.
No, yeah. Look, there's a couple of questions I wanted to lead off from there, but that's a good one because I notice I see a lot of collectors who own as many copies of the same movie as they can. It's like they'll have every variant, and that's strange to me. Like with that money you've spent on that movie, you could have brought seven other movies rather than seven copies of Terminator. Like it's
Yeah.
weird. But I mean, each to their own. Like if you love it that hard, good for you, but it's weird to me. Uh,
Yeah. I'm guilty of it to an extent.
okay, well,
Halloween.
yeah, okay,
So I own the 4K of that. I think it's Shout did it. I think
okay.
Shout did the 4K Halloween, or Scream, one of the two. Did all of the movies, but I own it on Blu-ray as well before I got the 4K. I've got it on DVD.
So that's a little bit different because I mean
Yeah,
I have movies on multiple formats, but that's because I
yeah,
bought the DVD back in the day and I've just upgraded. It's not because
yeah.
I've not I don't have seven 4K copies from different countries of the same movie. I mean, if you've
Yeah.
upgraded, do you do that? Have you done that?
Oh, yeah, but only because of, like, for instance, like, I bought Halloween, got a Blu-ray Steelbook, you know, and I had it on Blu-ray already,
Hmm?
and it was on Facebook Marketplace. I was like, I need this, and so I bought it. Um,
If it's a cheapo, yeah, I think that's forgivable.
and then probably the biggest offense that I think I've done for physical media buffs that are probably gonna, like, boo me after this was, I actually bought a Halloween on Laserdisc without even
Ah,
owning a Laserdisc player.
I don't think you'd be booed for that. I see. I
Like,
think
I
that's the
can't play it, but I have it.
but I think that's kind of still a little bit different than what I was think is weird. I think yours is forgivable, what you've done. I've just seen pages who would have they'll have a pile of the same movie, but they'll have multiple versions of the same format. Just
Yeah,
because they collected that movie, they don't collect movies, they collected that movie.
yeah,
There's actually a guy in England who has his whole pages set up. He buys the Mummy on VHS. He has
yeah,
thousands of
yeah.
copies. Have you seen that guy?
And I've seen there's two other people that are similar. So there's a guy that
Right.
does Titanic VHS,
Right. Yeah.
and he's literally lining his walls with copies of the Titanic.
Yeah.
And from what I can see, it's the same version. I don't think
I
he'll.
see it in op shops all the time.
And then there's another guy who's a tattoo artist, and I think he's sold off a lot of his collection except for this one movie. He's collecting ET, and his
Ah,
goal is,
yes. I've
I'm
seen
trying
that
to
one
think.
too.
Yeah, so he was. I can't remember what year that movie came out, but whatever year it was.
82, 82, 83, I think.
Yeah, so 1983 or whatever it was that it came out in. That's how many like how many copies his goal is to get. Like, so,
Ah,
like,
oh shit.
1,900, and like, that's how many
Wow.
copies, and that's when he'll stop. And he does updates, so, like, he'll, like, do, like, a photo, and he'll be like, okay, like, this is, like, number 473. But
That's great.
that happens not just with movies, that happens with gaming. There's a guy that's
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
collecting, back on the NES, the first, like, Nintendo system, like, for at home sort of thing.
Yeah.
They did a pre-pack that had the first Super Mario Brothers with Duck Hunt
Oh
on
yeah.
it. Like, they were both on the same cartridge.
Yeah.
And this
Okay.
guy just collects that one game, the Super Mario Duck Hunt. And yeah, so
How many of them can there be though? Like it's
I don't know. Like, basically, he sees a copy of it, he buys, and it's probably the most, like, one of the most common games because it was pre-packaged with the system for for a certain
yeah,
time.
yeah,
That game
yeah.
came with the console. So yeah, like I don't know. I've got quite a few different variations, including on same format of like Texas Chainsaw Massacre for like, but
Yep.
most of the time it's for like different anniversaries.
Ah,
So
yeah, yeah.
so it's never really like the same, or I
Huh.
don't go, oh, this is just a European version where it's just got, this little difference on it.
Mm.
But at the end of the day, I think, yeah, it may be strange to some, but I think at least that's a passion and they're keeping it strong and they're
Yeah, yeah,
buying.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, again, it's not disparaging them. It's more power to them. Like, collect what you collect. The people I know will kind of snigger at me because I have buy so many movies. It's like, why are you doing that? Well, everyone spends their money on something, right? With their disposable income, everyone's got something, and whatever makes you happy. But it's just like I said, it's a strange thing to me. But I think
Yeah.
there's forgivable ways to do it, and I'm going to creep into that with all the releases that are coming out this year with Jaws 50th anniversary. We're getting more Jurassic Parks, upgraded Jurassic Park films, so I'll be getting those, and Back to the Future too. Get a whole new set of that in October. So yeah, it's going to be. I'm going to be guilty of it to some degree for sure.
Yeah, that Jaws 50th anniversary steelbook.
Looks good, right?
Yeah, it looks really good. That's like
Yeah,
definitely something I'll be grabbing.
yeah. I think that's mid-July. It's not too far away. It's May now. Far out.
Yeah.
So how do you organize? Touched on it before, and this one to get to is how do you organize your collection? You keep yours separate by the sounds of it. So your DVDs are separate from Blu-rays and 4Ks, or
Yeah, look, to be honest, I don't have an area set up for it. I don't have the space really. I do have some shelves and I sort of make do, but literally, like, this is, I didn't even plan this, but like in my office, like, I've literally just got a pile of like some movies that I've recently got. And
oh
most
yeah,
likely, like, that will stay in this pile until I go to watch it, or I'll move this pile to somewhere else.
oh really?
I do plan on getting like some shelves and setting up a more dedicated area to do that. But yeah, I do keep them separate. So like my Blu-rays tend to be with the Blu-rays, my tapes are with my tapes, DVDs are separate,
Yep.
4Ks are separate. So I do that. And then basically anytime I get a new movie, it's straight onto CLZ, scan it in there, put
Yeah,
it
yeah,
in
yeah.
there because realize, and I thought it was only an old person thing, but I realized like I'd go to like JB, pick up a movie, and then realize I have like three copies of it already.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so now I don't buy a movie without checking that I, don't already own it.
You
So
you answered one of my questions about cataloging. So you use CLZ. A lot of people I've spoken to use CLZ. Do you pay for that annually or a monthly
yeah,
fee? Yeah.
yeah. So I pay for that just so that it works. Like it's one of those things that if you can't afford the subscription of CLZ, I recommend just creating your own spreadsheet.
Yeah.
I think it
That's what
will
I
work
do.
better. Um, and I
Yeah.
think that if I had the mindset, a spreadsheet would be better overall.
It's
But
fantastic.
it's good for just the there and then.
Yep, yep.
And it's mobile friendly as well, whereas the spreadsheet's not as mobile friendly.
No. Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I have a spreadsheet and I tried to access my spreadsheet through the cloud once.
yeah.
Just because I was out looking for stuff and I was like, I wanted to see whether I had this movie. And I got back home onto my Mac to access my spreadsheet and it was gone. So I actually had to re-catalog about a month's worth of movies. So
Uh,
there's still movies out there. I'm not sure if I've actually cataloged them now, which sucked because I had like maybe 1,200 movies at the time that happened and I was just lost. So
yeah. So, and not to be an elitist, just like pure facts. The free version of CLZ shit. Like
yeah.
it's just not worth even using. And
Okay.
that's where like I just say like if you can just set up, it's either pay for it because I think that the features are worth it. So get a paid subscription or just use Google Sheets. If you don't want to pay for it, I think that works better. But so I just do that. I do plan on doing a spreadsheet when I maybe over the Christmas break or when I can get a bit of time because it will take time.
How many
Um,
do you know roughly how many you have? Well, you would know how many you have if you got CLZ.
well, see, I only use this is where like I need to separate things. I only log my horror movies on CLZ.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I would say overall, like with all my movies, and this would only be like a ballpark figure. My collection's not large, but every movie I own, like I'm probably sitting at maybe like 800, 900.
Okay.
So it's still like it's a relatively small collection, but I don't like the idea of cataloging it all one by one on a spreadsheet. Like where CLZ's good, you just
Oh,
scan the barcode and it does it for you. Like
yeah. I'll tell you when because when I first got back into collecting, which a few years ago, because I took my time upgrading to 4K, and I regret taking the time I did because I missed out on a lot. But I started to catalog my movies, and when I cataloged them into my spreadsheet, I had about 330 something, like in the mid 300s, and it took me a good 3 days to solidly to log them the way I wanted to log them. And I don't have a lot of information in my spreadsheet. It's kind of basic, but yeah, so 900 is it could take a while. Right, yeah.
yeah, and it's
I'm
like yeah,
happy to send you my spreadsheet to give you an idea of what I do if you wanted.
yeah, that'd be great.
Use as a template or something as well.
But so I'm looking to do that. I did actually have a question for you. I know this is
Yeah,
obviously
go
your
for it.
thing, but what makes you so, I guess, steadfast with 4K? Like, do you
Um,
believe that, let's just say I'm trying to think of a movie that maybe they can't remaster as well. Let's say Singing in the Rain. You
yeah.
know, like there's only so much that they can do with that movie based on
Mm,
how it's filmed. Where do you think like the benefits of, let's say, like a 4K would be for that? That you would you still, if they did a re-release now where they did, let's
yeah,
say, a DVD, a Blu-ray, and a 4K, and let's say there's a $10 difference between each one, so one's 20, 30, 40,
yeah.
and it's a
I'd
movie
pay
that
40.
obviously, what would make you go 4K for something like that where there's
Well,
probably only so much?
I actually have Singing in the Rain on 4K, and it looks fantastic.
Does it?
Yeah,
Because obviously a larger bit rate, isn't it? That's running on the screen at once.
well, it's because it's on film. I'm a big lover of old movies. Like I love movies between the 30s and 70s. I think the ones that are amazing are amazing. Like my favorite movies of all time, pretty much, as
Yeah.
a group of film, and they all look fantastic on 4K. Mostly because they are shot on film, so they can. If they've got good source material with that 4K scan, they can do recolor grading on it because it's the most pristine and crisp way that it can be stored. Digitally, the
Mm,
way they film now, they can film on 12K, 8K, whatever. But with film, HDR is one thing that brings it out, like especially if you've got
yeah.
Dolby Vision or 10 plus. That's why I pay the extra. And I did say I was like a bit of a quality nerd before, so I do like to get it in the best way I can. If it's a film I love, if I love that much, or it's an old film that I know has a great reputation, I'll grab the 4K. If it's something I haven't seen every day, why exactly? I don't know if I can answer it properly, other than the fact that I'm a bit of maybe a bit of a snob. I don't know, but I do think
Okay,
the
so
quality is better. I mean, I
so
have plenty of Blu-rays. I have like 1,300 Blu-rays,
yeah.
uh, and I don't always upgrade to 4K. If it's a movie that I watched once in the last 5 years, like I don't watch very often, maybe I won't upgrade it.
Okay, so if there's a movie that again, same sort of thing, same question, but what would make you grab the Blu-ray over the 4K for any movie? Is there ever a time that they could release it at the exact same time, and
Mm,
instead of paying that extra $10 or whatever the price point difference is, you go,
mm.
nah, I'm just grabbing the Blu-ray version?
Yeah, it hasn't happened. Hasn't happened.
Hasn't happened.
No, it honestly hasn't happened. I can't think of a circumstance where I've gone, no, the Blu-ray's good enough for this.
Yeah,
There's plenty of times after I brought them home and watched them and gone, yeah, probably should have just stuck with the Blu-ray. It would have been fine. Because some Blu-rays, and I'll try and give a couple of examples, but the first one that comes to mind is Umbrella released The Last Stop in Yuma County on Blu-ray. I'm not
yeah.
sure if you've seen that or own it, but
No, I
that
really wanted to. That's on my list though.
it's one of the most phenomenal looking Blu-rays I've ever seen in my life. Like it's if that got an upgrade to 4K, I'd be like, I don't care. It doesn't matter because this Blu-ray looks stunning. Like
Yeah.
there's a few examples like that. I can't think of everything right now. But again, there's some 4Ks that don't wash up, that don't scrub up very well, where a Blu-ray would have been just as fine. Austin Powers is a great example of that. That's a really high quality, high bitrate 4K, like it's a 100 gig disc. But when you watch it over the Blu-ray, it's not a lot of difference. Like it's not great. And there are also some Blu-rays that are just shit. Like this, the talking about it before. There. Silence of the Lambs. The Blu-ray is atrocious. Absolutely atrocious Blu-ray. So because I ripped it out of the plastic last year, and I'm like, as soon as I watched it, like halfway through, I'm like, I need to get a 4K of this because the Blu-ray is just terrible. I don't think I could watch the Blu-ray
Yeah.
again. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But if everything movies come out in release date, and it's something I really want, I'll even if it's something I don't really want, I'll get the 4K.
Yeah.
That might
What?
that might have to change one day, but at the
Yeah, with
moment
the
it's fine.
tariffs and everything going in.
Well,
But
if that does affect us, I mean, cost of physical media is going up anyway, just naturally because of shipping and transport.
yeah.
That's what's driving the cost up of that. But yeah, I'll get back to you if it ever happens, for sure.
Yeah, that's what like I'm interested because you've actually not that I own like a small 4K, and like to be honest, like you've said there, like basically there's certain movies again, like a lot of my that I collect is horror. It doesn't always get a 4K release. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
pretty, it's really uncommon for horror movies, unless it's some like blockbuster type one. It's
Mm.
uncommon for them to get a 4K release. It just doesn't really
Yeah,
happen.
in this country, yeah.
Yeah, in
It's
this country at least. But then at the same time, you've actually got me excited to add more to my 4K. Listening to you talk, because I am like that. Like we've mentioned Sinners more than once tonight, and it's
yep.
important to do so because I went with my old man to see Sinners
Okay.
on Good Friday. Like we had nothing to do, and I ended up just like going, "Hey man, like, do you want to like catch up and go see a movie?" I was like, "There's one that you might like."
Yep.
Because he's a big From Dusk Till Dawn fan. He
Oh
introduced
yeah,
me to
yeah.
that
I
as a
watched that
kid.
like 2 nights ago because I just had to.
Yeah. So like I called him up and I was like, "Do you want to go see a movie?" And so we did, and we just saw it in regular cinema.
Yep.
And I love learning about how movies are shot and like the
Yeah.
cinematography of things.
Yep.
And listening to how Ryan Coogler was talking about how it was shot, the reasoning behind it, and then I was watching various
Is
videos
that
that.
is that with Kevin McCarthy? Because if you don't follow
Yeah,
Kevin
that was
McCarthy,
one of those.
yeah,
Yeah, so
You need to follow him. He's brilliant. He's the best
yeah,
interviewer in the game. Yeah.
yeah. I saw some of his stuff where he's shown like the different aspect ratios that we used as well
Yes.
in the
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah. I'm a
and
big
it was
aspect ratio idiot. I don't know why. It's
yeah.
just yeah.
So when I was like, and they showed some examples of the movie and how it
Mm.
changes in it, and I
Yep.
was like, whoa! Like I knew that it was shot in IMAX. It was a whole big deal, but I didn't know to what extent,
Yeah.
because I'd previously seen Alien Romulus in
Okay.
IMAX, and at the time they turned around and said something like, "Oh, there's like 26% more picture," and they
Yeah.
basically simplified it as just that. That was it. But hearing Ryan talk about this movie and how they did it, the reasoning behind it,
Mm.
I decided that I needed to see it in IMAX.
Yep.
It was just like and so I took myself like a week later.
Yeah.
I'm in Melbourne, so I just went down to the IMAX here. I went on my own. It
Mhm.
was packed, which was always good to see as well.
Yeah.
So it was packed, and it was honestly and probably the most stunning like cinematic thing I've ever watched.
Wow.
Like it wouldn't have even mattered what the story was about. Like I just
Yeah. It's a beautiful film.
experience in it. It was just I've never felt anything like it. But it was that where I think and hearing you talk and your passions with it just tonight even has made me just go like in all honesty I feel like I need to do more of putting my money where my mouth is.
It's
And
going to
yeah,
ask me. It's going to lead me to ask you the next question then, because this could be what do you watch it on? What do you watch it through? What's your 4K player and what's your TV that you have? Because that'll
so
make a big difference.
my TV is I'm pretty sure so it's a LG QLED, a 75-inch.
Is it a and what's your player? What do you play your 4Ks
Oh,
through?
see, this is where like I probably have to get a new player, but I'm playing it through a PlayStation 5.
Okay, so with the PlayStation 5, you're not going to get Dolby Vision.
Yeah,
Um,
my TV has it built in, but yeah,
no,
there's only
but
going to be that
you
limit.
still need the player to be able to play it.
Yeah.
You would notice if your LG will have Dolby Vision. Samsung don't do Dolby Vision because they're tight asses, don't want to pay the license. I would never buy a Samsung. But the fact you have an LG QLED with Dolby Vision, I would recommend. Look, if you have the new Xbox, I think plays Dolby
Yeah,
Vision.
yeah,
I
I've
think
got one of
that's
those as well.
yeah. So I would even watch.
Use that instead.
I would use that instead just to at least get the Dolby Vision. But you do need a dedicated player that has that RAM. I don't know what the hell if it's RAM or
Yeah,
ROM that it's dedicated to play it. So
yeah.
I have a cheap Sony the X700. They're $320. I think you can get them for if you get them on sale. I think that's pretty cheap, and that plays Dolby Vision, and it doesn't do HDR10 plus, but it does HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and it's phenomenal. It does. At first, you won't think it makes a difference, but if you put on a Blu-ray of June and then put on the 4K, it'll just change your life.
And that's like some of the 4Ks that I do, that I
Mm,
bought day one in 4Ks. There's certain, like I said, there's
yeah,
certain movies that I buy knowing just because of how it's shot. We didn't get a 4K here, but if they did a 4K of Strange Darling, I'd buy that on 4K straight away.
I got a 4K and I had to import it.
You had to import, yeah. So,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
do import some movies, and I could like talk to certain companies here that do, because I do
yep,
have a lot of region free. But there are definitely ones that are day one that I buy. Like I bought. You mentioned The Exorcist earlier. It's one of my
yep.
favorite movies of all
Hmm.
time.
Yeah.
Um,
It's amazing.
when they did the anniversary re-release of that with the
Yes,
director's cut in it as well.
with that shit.
Yeah, I actually don't mind the
Do you
cover.
like that? Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
that black with the green in it, like I don't mind it. Like it's
yeah,
not
I hated it.
iconic, but yeah, it is. It's not great. As soon as you said the shit cover, I knew well on you. But like that was a day one buy for me. That was
Yeah,
actually a day zero buy for me because for some reason, I'm not going to name the store just in case, but like it had a release date, right? We all knew that
yeah,
it was only like a day or two before Believer, the movie came out, the sequel
yeah,
came out.
yeah,
Like it
yeah.
was like basically in line with that. And so like
Yes.
I had it going, okay, like you've got to buy it. You gotta buy this. And I went in like a store like the day or two before the release date and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
there. And
Uh,
I was like, I
all
don't
the
know if
stores
they
will do
know about
that.
it. So I
JB
just did
does
this.
that.
It breaks the embargo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They're allowed to.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll tell you how I know that because I order a lot. I do pretty much all of my pre-ordering off Easy DVD, and they
Yeah.
live 2 suburbs down the road from me. So I get movies that were supposed to come out, say Wednesday, the 3rd of May. I'll get them. Actually, that's a shitty date. Wednesday, the 28th of April. I'll generally get them the week before because I live up the road. I'll get them. They send them on the Wednesday before they're supposed to be out,
Yeah.
and I get them in a day or two, 2 days maximum for me to get the films. And my local JB, I kind of got to know the woman in there or the lady in there who stacks, yeah, is actually responsible for the physical media. And she said, because she's friends with me on the KerbSide Collections Instagram page, and she said she saw one of my posts and she said that was weird because I get a message from them saying that if I put them out before at least the Monday, the store will get a fine. Like, so they actually email the stores and say, you can't put them out before this day, even though blah, blah,
Hmm.
blah. My package always comes with like the Peter paper that comes from Easy DVD. It'll say strict release date, April 28th, and I've got it on the 24th or something. So they don't
Yeah.
care. They just send it out and I get it and yeah, and put it up on my page or whatever.
Yeah. I mean,
So,
yeah.
so if you got it on the Monday before the Wednesday, that's very usual. That's very normal.
Yeah, but that's even like walking in the store though. Like they're breaking it in, like breaking embargo in store.
Yeah, but well, that's the thing. They can do that
Yeah,
if they've got them.
yeah,
Yeah, just break it. They must. I'm interested to know the logistics behind it, like the release dates, how soon they do get them, whether it's like 2 weeks before. I don't know. It'll be
yeah. Like it's
interesting.
never like it hasn't been that I've gone in there. It's only happened twice that I've been able to do this.
Mm.
One was with that release. Like it was like probably like I'm gonna say like 2 or 3 days before the actual release date. It was just I walked in there, saw it on shelf, and was like, "Yep, got it."
Yeah,
And I deliberately, because I didn't know how the embargo worked with it, I deliberately bought like another couple of movies, put it in the middle, and just like acted like I was buying a pile, just in case they go, wait a minute. And then they did the same with Rob Zombie's Vision
Oh
Halloween
yeah.
release. That came
Ma-
out like a couple of days
If
before it
you,
was meant to.
trust me, if the date is on the Wednesday, if you really want it and don't want to miss it, go in on the Monday every time.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
good
yeah.
to know.
It'll always be on the shelf. Otherwise, yeah, pre-order it, and you can pre-order them in store too, so they'll hold a copy for you.
Yeah. I don't know if this is going to make you proud. I was actually thinking about it because you've made me, no matter what, I'm committed to 4K now, like more so than, right? But,
My
and I don't know if
influence,
this,
my
yeah,
my.
it's working, but I can be a movie
Ooh,
snob. I don't like to
is
wait for certain things.
that the
Um,
Godzilla -1, right?
so yeah, right. So this is a Japanese one.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's only in
It does
Japanese though, right?
have subtitles,
Oh, okay.
but the Japanese one does come with subtitles
I
like
didn't
in it.
know that. Right. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. That's good.
And that's 4K as well, right? So
Yeah.
because that, do you remember how long it took us to get a release of
Oh, yeah, it was a long time because
like
I reached out. I was like, when are we getting a 4K? When are we getting one? And then I was like, yeah, yeah. I found out that it was coming, and I was like, okay, I'll just wait for it to come to Australia, and I pre-ordered the
yeah.
steelbook. So
I had that probably like a good like I reckon close to 6 months before Australia got any like
it can
-1.
take it can take a while for Australia to get them, and a big reason for it is having them rated for Australian
Yeah,
audiences. That can
yeah.
actually take a bit of time because it does go through government, and that government aren't the quickest. We don't work the quickest.
No, we don't. No.
But I mean, I think that's the same anywhere in the world. But yeah, that, and especially if they come with special features, that all has to be rated as well. So someone has to sit and physically watch everything, tick boxes, see if it hits this and that, and then they come up with like this algorithm. Oh, it's a PG-13 or it's a G or whatever. So that's
Yeah,
how it's done. You can actually become accredited online to do that yourself if you wanted to accredit to rate them. Yeah, yeah,
actually
it's
that
like a
would be.
yeah, because there's actually a
Uh,
shortage of people doing it in Australia.
uh.
Yeah.
But so what made me get this was that
Mm.
this was also at the time because it was so early before we got it. I got this through Outrun. I
Oh,
reached
yep.
out like after, and I was like, I need this movie. Like, get me this. I need it. And I was like, and I need it in 4K. And this was the
Yeah.
only copy that came with the minus color at the time.
Yes, the black and white.
Yeah, and we didn't
Yeah.
actually know, at least I couldn't see anywhere if like I thought it was a sure thing Australia would get the movie. Like I did it
Yeah.
was just a matter of time, but I didn't know about the minus color if we would get that or if they would just do one or if that's something that they would release down the track again as a money grab. I think they ended up doing it that it's in the same collection, like you get both the movies together or
Yeah, it was an
something.
expensive set. It was like 110 or 50 bucks, even 150 bucks
Yeah.
for to get that. The
I
cuts,
mean, this is like a
fucking hard
huge
cuts.
set. Like, I think this is like a 4 disc set or something.
Yeah, yeah.
But all the special features I can't watch because the special features don't have the subtitles.
Right.
It's cool to watch though, and it does have a really cool like art book in it as well, um,
Okay.
with stuff. And look, it
I
was
like that.
pricey,
Yeah.
but the quality of it is like just the presentation of just the packaging of it is
Yeah.
unreal. But
Yeah.
I remember that and I just thought, you know what? Like that will make you proud. It's the 4K and it is spectacular. Like, and definitely one movie, if I had to like champion 4K at all, like
Yeah.
minus
Yeah.
zero, like, you know, that movie, -1, and minus color as well, something that people need to watch in 4K.
Yeah, you know what? I have not watched my 4K of it yet, and it's sitting on my shelf, and I look at it from time to time and go, I should watch that soon. Yeah, yeah, it just definitely needs a rewatch. I was gonna, one of my questions, one of my normal questions is, what do you have? If you have anything that's you have proudly on display that you show off? I mean, you got the Godzilla -1 you just showed me.
Not so much like on display. Like I would, like when I have like a proper setup, I will. There's definitely like items in my collection that I'm like really excited to have just because
Yeah.
either they just look like stunning or they're hard to get, especially in
Mm-hmm.
Australia.
Yep.
Uh, one being like I got the through Rick at Outrun. I got he managed to be able to get me one of the Criterion Godzilla sets, the big book.
Ah,
Like it's a
yeah,
huge
yeah, it's a massive
like
set. Yeah.
you know, and was able to get me one of those, even though at the time it was out of print. but he was like, oh, let me see
Ah,
if I can try and get a
yeah.
copy. If they've been made and there's some copies, let me see. He goes, but don't hold your breath. And it was only like a day or two later. He's like, yeah, I can get it for you. However, it's going to be this much money. You're going to probably have to sell a kidney. And I was like, just do it, buy it. So that's
Can I ask how much?
look, I got it at a decent price. Like Rick was like, I'll
It
knock it
doesn't want to
down a bit.
say. Okay.
Uh, but generally, like give or take different places, you're looking at between like 360 and 400.
I'm going to ask you a question. Do you have, oh, I'm going to piss you off here. Do you have Amazon? Do you subscribe to Amazon?
Yeah,
So right now on Amazon, the Godzilla box, the Showa films from 54 to 75, 196
yeah,
bucks.
yeah. See, like that's look. I didn't pay too crazy more than that.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was looked after in that aspect. I was extremely
Yeah,
lucky.
that's cool. That's
Uh,
cool. Rick's a good
but
guy.
yeah, and plus, I'd rather support, like stores like that
Local
in
boy?
Australia. Yeah,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they make it easier. Like I know that I can go to people
Mm.
like Rick and go, hey, I really want to try and get this movie, one that he hasn't even advertised. But
Yeah, yeah,
like I
yeah.
go, okay, if he's got Criterions, maybe he can order other Criterions, and he can. So like
Yes.
I saw that he started getting Criterions in, I obviously want to try and get the horrors. So I'm like, are you able to get, House, Cure,
Oh,
Haxon, stuff like that?
I got Cure
Um,
recently.
yeah. So I have the Criterion version. I know that who
Yeah.
released it recent.
It's Eureka, I think. Cinema
I
One.
think
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So there's that sort of thing where, and he goes, yeah, like let me just see what I can do, and he never makes any promises just in case it's
Yeah,
unavailable.
yeah.
He goes, and he'll come back and before he orders, he goes, "Yep, I can get it. It will be this much. Do you want it?" And I either say, "Oh,
Hmm.
nah." And then he goes, "Oh, like if you order, like if there's a bunch of stuff that you want in, but you can't grab it all at once, like you can just buy some stuff if I know you're gonna grab it later on. Like I'll
Oh,
order
yeah.
the stuff in, and then just when you're able to buy it, let me know, and he'll just send the invoice of how much that is, and he won't list it
Oh,
on the
that's
site,
great. I've not
which
hit
has
him
been
up like
good.
that. I'm too scared to hit
I
people up for shit like that.
No, like I just more tell him like I've just been like he'll go, oh yeah, like I can get that movie, and I'll go, hey, I'm paid fortnightly. You've happened to
Yep.
hit me up on my off week. I don't get paid for this amount of time. I don't really want to be. I've got bills to pay. I can't drop, let's say, $600 on an order. And he'll be
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh,
yeah.
look, if you need to grab bit by bit or something, like we can talk about it. Like just talk, and then we just come up with go, okay, cool, I'll grab these ones first and then that. But I think it's important just to be like open and communicate. There could be times I could turn around
Yeah,
and go,
yeah.
hey, could you buy $1,000 worth of movies from me? But I'm not gonna buy them for 6 months. He may go tell me to take a walk, but
Yeah, yeah.
if I don't buy it after a certain amount of time, he might just list it and go,
Put it on
like
Hawk. Yep.
too bad. But it's been good. Probably something that like I was really really happy for too was that when they got the Walmart editions of the Crow Steelbook in,
Ah, yeah. Oh, I didn't
yeah,
know he did
like
that. Okay.
yeah, so you got some of those the nice 4K Steelbooks in, and at the time, like I had like a family member that was quite sick and in hospital, and I was really slow at ordering a copy, like
Hmm.
purchasing a copy, and so like I missed it, and I just happened to like. It's one of those things that you don't know if you don't ask, sort of thing. And I
Yeah,
just said,
yeah.
like, I know I can see here that you were advertising this. Do you have any left? And I was expecting him to say no, like, nah, too bad. And
Yeah.
he just again does like a typical thing of going like he goes like, let me see what I can do. And yeah, so he's like come back to me like a day later and he goes, I can get you a copy if you want it.
Oh,
And
awesome.
it'll be this much, let me know if you want me to grab it. And like he's pretty local to me, like pretty local. Like I'm almost country, like so he's out near,
Ah, okay.
like
He's Traralgon,
near,
right?
yeah. So
Yeah.
he's only like realistically just under an hour away from me.
Are you
So
out Dandenong Way or?
yeah, so I'm in Berwick.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
so I'm not too far from there. Plus, I've actually like I own a house in Trafalgar.
Oh, okay.
So like I'm out Gippsland Way as well. So
Oh,
it's not too far. And when I order from from Rick, I generally have it like a day or two after ordering.
Yeah, he's pretty quick. Even up here in Queensland, I get him within 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, so
Sorry, I'm not sure if you could hear that well. I was just letting my
no,
cat
no,
out.
I can hear. No, that's all right.
Okay.
But yeah, so but it makes you like one. I don't think his prices are bad. Like I don't,
No, 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 no.
because I also think I'd
He's
rather support stores that can import them than like the
mm,
big corporations that will do it anyway. Because he cares about what he's doing, and I know that my
yeah.
stuff's going to be packaged well.
Yes.
Um,
Yep.
and like he's happy that you could reach out to him and go, hey, can you get this movie? And he'll have a look for you.
Mm,
And obviously that's time out of his day that he'll do that.
yes.
And you can turn
Yeah.
around and go, oh no, I don't want it, and then he just won't get it. But he'll do that for someone. He'll go, yeah, like let me have a look. And so that sort of stuff, like I automatically just appreciate, and something that I really like about the community is just that,
Yeah.
like, if you messaged me and said, "Oh, I want, Lake Placid on 4K," I can only see that there's 4K at Fountain Gate JB Hi-Fi or something like that's the only place that stocks it. Do
Yep.
you mind if you grab me a copy? Like, I'd go, yeah, no worries, mate. I'll go get it and I'll ship it up to you. Like,
Yeah.
and I
So
just believe that everyone would do that as well. Like,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
like if we
Definitely.
knew, like, hey, look, is any, like, put up a story, is anyone in Brisbane that can get this? There's only one copy at this store. And I reckon there'd be people that would put their hands up and go, yeah, cool, no worries. Like, here's this, like, here's my PayID or whatever, or here's
Yep.
PayPal, bank transfer. And I think that just brings everyone together. Everyone's always looking for something. I don't think there's ever such thing
Yeah,
as
yeah.
like the search stopping.
No, it's a never ending. It's a never ending story. It's just a never ending journey. Like we're
Yeah,
literally trying to drop a ring into a volcano. That's that's what it feels
yeah.
like. It'll never end. Which is a scary thought, to be honest, because one day I'm going to be too old to be keep buying these things to have make any sense. Like I'm almost at that point now where I'm just like, I should stop at some point because I don't know why I need more, how I need more, but they keep, especially now with the 4K. There's so many amazing movies being re-released on 4K. It's doing my head in.
But and I wonder if it's the same with you too, though. So like, I pose a question to you: does the hunt spark joy?
Yeah, it does. Like I
Exactly.
love I love finding a bargain too.
Hmm.
'Cause I pretty much every night whether I can afford it or not, I browse Amazon and I'll add stuff to a wish list or I'll prioritize and if something's on sale, I don't necessarily buy it then because I'm like, yeah, but I want this one more, or I know there's a sale coming up soon for something, and I'll just kind of wait. There's a lot of movies coming out now from Kino Lorber, for example. They're dropping heaps of stuff, but quite often you'll see them have bargains on Amazon. Like I'm not sure who I'm actually buying them through. It's not Kino Lorber. It's maybe resellers, but sometimes you'll see you might pay 55, $65 for them in Australia, but in 6 months' time they'll be 30 something on Amazon. So
Yeah.
I have patience for a lot of titles. Like Tombstone is a big one, for example. I've just waited.
Hmm.
I'll wait for that because a lot of those titles, I mean, they're sold out everywhere. You'll see them sold out, sold out, sold out. Jackie Brown, the Lionsgate re-releases of that and the Kill Bills. I'm just happily waiting for those because they'll come down. They have
Are you
to.
gonna get the steel books?
Look, I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know if I want to upgrade them. If they get Australian releases, I would probably be 100% certain to get on them. But I know Lionsgate don't have any distribution technically in Australia. It's always a case by case and it takes ages. But
I
even,
was like, who do they come through?
well,
Lionsgate, because they do what the Saw movies. Lionsgate.
yeah, not all of them because the Saw movies are actually starting to get 4K releases from the middle of this year. But so we're going to get Saw X in 4K, and then in a couple of months, and then they're working backwards from there. I actually said this on one of my shows recently. So we'll get Saw 9 in a few months after that, Saw 8 a few months after that on 4K. It's just going to go backwards until it gets back to number one, I suppose. So there's a lot of rights issues, licensing issues. So even though Lionsgate might have it overseas, it might be a Paramount movie for the rest of the world, that type of
Oh,
thing.
okay.
Yeah, and Titanic is a great example of that. That's a Fox movie, but Paramount had global distribution rights.
Yeah,
Or
okay.
no, that's opposite because I think it's opposite. Fox own it, but Paramount have North American distribution rights. And because Fox released it, Fox/Disney, we still didn't get it in Australia, even though it's a Paramount film, because Fox owned the rest of the world rights. That's how that worked. That's why we
Oh,
didn't get it here. Yeah, there's tons like that. Small Soldiers. That's a Fox and Fox.
I
Sorry, that's not
really
a
want that.
get it because it might not come to Australia. It might not get an Australian release.
When's
That's
the best place to get the steelbook? Is it still possible?
I pre-ordered mine from Rick from Outrun.
Oh, okay. So I
Because
must
I
send a
actually
message.
messaged him about it. He put him up, and I might have been one of the very first to order it because I've loved that film for so long. And I
Yeah.
announced it on my show that I predicted it was going to get one because I'm not sure if you listened to my show I do with Shane,
Yeah, yeah.
but I found a trend on Amazon that when these random Blu-rays that go up for sale, like under $20, they're going to get a 4K release. I noticed it with Tommy Boy. I noticed it with quite a few movies, and then it happened with A Long Kiss Goodnight. So I ordered a Blu-ray because I didn't
Oh,
have that
okay.
physically. And then it came out, and I'm like, I reckon this is going to get a 4K. And about a few months later, Arrow announced it. It happened with Small Soldiers. I was like, cool, I'm going to get Small Soldiers, and that was like $17, something like that. Got the Blu-ray, and again, a few months later, bang. And so I've actually been putting on my stories when I see something that I think this is going to get a 4K. I think Nightcrawler will get a 4K announcement soon, as will.
That'd be beautiful.
Yep, it would. Also, the Pierce Brosnan Thomas Crown affair with him and Rene Russo, that's going to get one soon because I've just noticed it just randomly come on sale on Amazon. And I think they try and clear out those Blu-rays so they can sell them. So they go, oh, people, that's cheap. And then the 4K comes out. So they either get to double dip or people go, well, we've sold our Blu-rays, so we're going to sell our 4Ks too. They don't have the Blu-ray sitting on the shelf because they've
Yeah.
put them on sale 2 or 3 months in advance. It's
Plus, that would make sense because Michael B. Jordan's producing the remake of the Thomas Crown Affair as well. At least.
yes.
So,
And you'll notice there's a massive marketing when it comes to re-releases, especially 28. It's no circumstance. It's no accident that 28 days later is getting a steelbook release globally when 28 years is coming out, and we'll get 28
yeah,
weeks eventually too.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's shit like that happens all the time.
exactly.
You
And
talked
that's
about
what
The
they're doing.
Exorcist earlier. Exorcist came
Yeah.
out because Exorcist Believer was coming out, and David Lynch films coming out just after he died, and there's a lot of
And that's what I'm hoping, like, because I've started buying the 4Ks of the Friday the 13th movies that Arrow's releasing.
yeah.
But how sporadic what movies they are choosing to do, because they're not doing it in order.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so they're doing it in random order.
Again, it's licensing. You might not get the others. That's the thing. It's licensed.
Yeah.
Sometimes these each individual release that you see, there's so many stories behind each one that are all different and all varied in how they got to you on your shelf. There's a lot of movies out there that will maybe never get released because these arguments about who actually owns them, whether it's a studio, whether it's an individual. Like there's so much out there that we're not screaming out for things that we might not ever get because no one knows who owns it, or they're in legal disputes about who owns it, and no one will budge. So we'll never get it. Dogma is a really good example of that. Kevin Smith finally got ownership back of that. So now he's touring it around America at the moment. Like right now, he's touring it, and we're definitely getting a steelbook of that probably next year. But again, that's Lionsgate because Lionsgate have the physical media with him, so we might not get it in Australia. I'd be
Yeah.
surprised if we don't, but whatever the first day it comes up live to buy, I'm buying it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big one for me. What else were we talking
Yeah.
about? Is there anything you want to get a 4K transfer? Or anything that you know is being released that you are looking forward to? I mean, that's two questions there.
No, I think what it is there's certain movies that I want to deliberately go out of my way to get a 4K. Like I saw, I think it was like last year might have been, or maybe even the year before. Like I saw Space Jam got a 4K.
Yeah. The first one?
So, yeah, the first one.
Did it?
I think
I didn't know
I'm
that.
pretty certain it did anyway.
I
And
know
if not,
I
then
know the
that's
LeBron
one.
one did.
Yeah, we don't talk about that movie. But that first one, if it doesn't have a 4K, that needs one. That
Yeah,
would be a
yeah.
day one purchase if it doesn't. I say that if it's already out and I don't have it, that's a day one purchase.
Hmm.
But yeah, like I think we're just in this sort of time where I think people need to actually care about the quality of movies as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
like what they called Sinners and what they've called like Barbie and Oppenheimer and
Hmm.
stuff. They've called it event cinema,
Yes.
and it's where it's sort of just taken over the whole,
Yeah.
like, just anyone going to the movies is seeing that movie. Like,
Yes.
you go
Yeah.
to the
Yeah. Yeah.
viewing at
Yeah.
Barbie, they're either seeing Barbie or Oppenheimer or both.
Yep. Everything else can go
Um,
get fucked, right? Like that's the
exactly right. I
yeah.
would have hated
Yeah.
to see like what movies came out at that time. Like, I feel
Yeah.
sorry for them. Like,
Yeah.
and so, and I thought that is such an accurate thing. I don't remember and obviously, we're talking about people that are movie buffs,
Yep.
but you hear about like either physical media or what they've watched on Tubi or Mubi or
Mm.
Amazon.
Hmm.
I've never seen at one time so many people talking about going to the cinema to see one movie, the same movie.
Do you mean
Yeah,
Sinners?
like
It's
Sinners,
it's
like
been a it has been a cultural phenomenon, hasn't it? But it's a weird thing, cinema at the moment, with the money, how it makes or how it's making money, because COVID definitely changed a lot of things with
mm,
cinema, and streaming is messing it up. I think word of mouth is a massive thing for cinema now. Like people went and watched
yeah,
Barbie and were like, "Oh, Barbie's actually really good." Like, who would have thought Barbie was going to be good? And it is. Barbie's a fantastic movie. And then
yeah,
Oppenheimer just happened to. If Barbie wasn't out at the same time as Oppenheimer, no way Oppenheimer would have made $900 million. No chance. It would have made. It's $120 million movie at most. Like it really
yeah.
rode the coattails of that marketing campaign. And as soon as that
And that was
happened,
brilliant too, though. Like the way that they did that was just so well done.
yeah.
But you're right. And I saw it. I got sucked into seeing Barbie. And I blame The Exorcist for that too, though. So
All
at the
right. Okay.
time I was with my ex and she goes, if you see Barbie with me, you can
Yep.
choose a movie, then I'll come and see it with you. And I was like, all right, cool. Believer. You're gonna come see it. When the time came, we saw Barbie and we didn't see Exorcist Believer together. She's like, nah, you're going on your own. But I
That's why you're
do,
single.
yeah. But I walked out of Barbie and that wasn't bad.
Yeah, it's
That
good.
was,
I really
like
like Barbie.
there was enjoyable things. I laughed. I didn't think I'd
Yeah.
find myself laughing in it, and I did. I laughed throughout that, and yeah, it was just one of those things that I think that that movie could have had something for everyone. And the only people that are like hating on it are the same people that would hate on it anyway. Like they're gonna say that
Yeah, 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 yeah.
you know,
The people
they
who
talk
are the
about your
problem.
orientation and yeah, like just that
Yeah,
sort of stuff. And it's like
yeah.
that doesn't even come into it. That's not an issue. That's not what we're talking about here. But yeah, it's just one of those things. I will have to start wrapping it up because my phone's on like 5%. But
Oh,
yeah,
okay. That's cool. I've kind of asked most of the questions anyway, and you've answered everything. So to get to it, you are on Letterboxd. So I'm going to ask
mm,
you, just starting something new, stealing ideas like Jim Cameron and Quentin Tarantino, or steal others' ideas. What are your four
yeah.
favorite films?
So my top four on Letterboxd at the moment, and I'm toying up with the idea of putting Sinners in there. But at the moment, so I've got John Carpenter's Halloween for sure.
Okay,
So that's in there. That's my top four. The original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Toby Hooper's.
nice.
Um, and then what else? I've got another John Carpenter movie, The Thing,
Yes,
and Aliens. Yeah,
Aliens.
yeah. Look, I like the camaraderie that has
Okay.
with each other. Michael Bean, all those characters in it. It's a little bit, and I say this even though I'm a horror fan, but it's a little bit brighter. There's some more light in it. It's not such a dark shot
Yeah.
movie. So I do like that a little bit. And I just think overall it's a more fun movie. Bill
Mm,
Paxton was amazing in it. Like he was just great.
yeah.
And same with like the characters of like Vasquez and that amazing. So yeah, so those ones, and then I've got one more. I can't even remember what it is.
No, I
Halloween,
think you said four.
Chainsaw Alliance. Did I? Yeah. Well, there you
Yeah.
go.
I just
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
do you listen to podcasts generally? Because I want to
Not a
recommend you
lot.
one.
I
Okay.
should though.
This Michael Bean actually has his own podcast called Just Falling About, and
Oh, okay.
you would love it. He actually talks to a lot of his old friend actors on, especially he's in season 3 at the moment. A lot of the ones that he
Okay.
worked with on Aliens, and he talks about Aliens a lot. The latest episodes, he hasn't had guests. He's just telling stories about, like, you'll find the biggest insider gossip from Michael Biehn. He doesn't give a shit. He just talks, and he just tells everything. He talks about him and Bill Paxton getting stoned in London and almost
Oh,
getting busted, and how he got the part in Aliens and stuff. It looks like I lost Mike, so I'll just wrap it up here for him. You can catch Mike at Beyond Horror on Instagram and also on Letterboxd. He does have a YouTube channel too. I'm not 100% sure what that is off the top of my head as I'm talking about it. I think it's just under Beyond Horror as well, so you can catch Mike. That was a really fun chat. I really enjoyed that, and I'm going to try and do that type of style of a chat now with this show, rather than just talking about the physical media of everyone's habits, but also their passion and the movies that they love. And we'll talk about the movies a bit more as well to make this show a little bit more interesting. So yeah, I hope you're all looking forward to that style of recording from now on going forward. Do need to mix up the show a little bit. So thanks very much for hanging in there and listening this far into the show. And look, I really do appreciate everyone tuning in. Love the efforts that you all do to take time out of your day and tune in to listen to me talk about my passion. So hit me up in the DMs if you want to be on the show. I'd love to have anyone on. I'm happy to schedule a time for whenever suits you. Wherever you are on the planet, we can make anything work in this day and age, because it's all computers, isn't it? KerbSide Collections. Also, yeah, sorry. So you can also find me at KerbSide_collections on Instagram and KerbRider on Letterboxd. We are a part of the SPDM Crew network of podcasts, and you can catch any show that this network does, which is various across any aspect of pop culture and sport and whatever you can think of. There's a podcast about it on the network, so you can get that wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Thanks everyone for tuning in and listening. Love you all, and we'll see you next time.